Welcome back, friends. This is Velma from Leaders Pathway, where leaders go to grow. Well, I got a question for you today, my friend. Have you ever noticed how the loudest voice in the room usually gets the most attention? Yeah, it's like the squeaky wheel gets the oil. We've heard that before. Yep. Meanwhile, the quiet contributor, the one who keeps the wheels turning without all the noise. They get about as much credit as the office plant. Now, here's the unspoken insight that I want you to take from this series, From Boss to Leader. Leaders often end up championing the loudest voices. But influence, my friend, it multiplies when you champion the overlooked talent. Think about it like this. Take Oprah Winfrey. Y'all know Oprah? Yeah, Oprah. One of the reasons that she built such a powerful empire wasn't just her charisma or her interviews. It was her ability to see what others didn't see. Oprah invested in voices nobody else was paying attention to. Authors or experts or everyday people who had never been given a platform suddenly had Oprah behind them. And when she said, "This matters," the world listened. That, my friend, that is invisible advocacy. And it's powerful. But here's the thing. It's not just Oprah-level leaders who do this. I personally have experienced it firsthand. I remember the day that I went to Barclays Bank. It was when I was living in the Bahamas. And I went to Barclays Bank as a teenager. I say teenager, I was in my 18 or 19 years old. And I was going to get a loan from my very first car. To say I was excited and nervous all at the same time, well, that would be an understatement. But I remember when I approached the loan officer, I was sitting on the edge of my chair and I asked in a very low, more quiet voice if I could get a loan to purchase my new car. Now, the loan officer looked over all my paperwork. I had done a great job of filling out everything that they needed. And then he looked at me straight in the eye and he said, "I'm sorry, but you'll need a guarantor." A guarantor? I wasn't quite sure what he meant, but I was pretty sure I didn't have it. And my stomach, I remember my stomach dropped. I had very little savings. My family had no extra funds. And let's be honest, my name didn't carry exactly any weight at all at Barclays Bank. And so with a lot of disappointment and disillusionment, I walked back to work with papers in my hand, trying to look like it was just another work day. But inside, I was panicked and I was heartbroken because I didn't know what I would do. I didn't know. And so when I arrived at work, as much as I tried to hide my disappointment, my supervisor, Lynn, saw me and she took one look at me when I walked into the office and she said, "Hey, Velma, come here, come sit down." And so I sat down and she said, "What's going on?" Now, friends, here's what separated her, Lynn, from being a boss and to being my leader. She noticed. She didn't brush off. She didn't half listen. She leaned in. She made space for me. I felt seen, heard, and I felt valued. And so I spilled it. The bank, the car, the embarrassment, the disappointment, blah. I just poured it out with a few teardrops to go with it. And instead of a pep talk or worse, a lecture, Lynn simply picked up the phone. She called Barclays Bank with this quiet, steady, confident voice. She spoke to the branch manager, and then she hung up the phone. I remember she looked at me with a little smile and she said, "Now you go to Barclays and you ask for Mr. Sants. Your loan is approved." That was it. No fanfare, no spotlight, just her invisible advocacy, her influence covering me when I had none. And it left a permanent mark on me, my friend, because that's the difference. When you go from being a boss to being a leader, the boss manages you, but a leader advocates for you. And often your leader, they advocate for you when you didn't even see it coming, when you're not even in the room. Now, you might be wondering, well, why does this matter to me? It matters to you because your team is watching you. Not just what you say in front of them, but who you noticed, who you celebrate, and who you quietly support when they're not in the room. If you only spotlight the loud team members, guess what happens? The quiet team members, they stop trying. And when you consistently lift up the people who often go unseen or unheard, you don't just earn loyalty, you multiply your influence. That, my friend, that is the difference. And your team members with the loudest voices, hey, they respect you even more because they see you as being a fair leader, as someone who values the whole team. So, how do you make this practical? How do you leverage this kind of invisible power so that you could be seen not as a boss, but as a leader? Well, number one, spot the invisible hero. This week, look for one quiet contributor. You already know who that person is on your team, the one whose work keeps slipping under the radar. It might be the person who always fixes the slide deck for you, smooths out the customer complaints, or makes sure that the team actually looks good. Number two, advocate for that person in rooms that they're not in. When you're in a meeting or sending updates, drop their name. Shine a light. Say, hey, we wouldn't have pulled this off without Sarah, or whoever your Sarah is for that matter. This isn't flattery, it's fairness. I'll digress here and tell you that, recently I had a client that was in a board meeting, and I wasn't in their board meeting. I was teaching their leadership academy, and the client mentioned my name. They advocated for me with their board about having my services to facilitate some committee members with their leaders, their emerging leaders. And so they were advocating for me. I wasn't even in the room. And trust me, it made me feel good to know that client thought that highly of me to speak for me when I couldn't speak for myself. It isn't flattery, it's fairness. And you as a leader would want your leader to do the same for you. And number three, so I gave you spot that invisible hero, find out who they are, whose work's under the radar, and go ahead and give them the support, advocate for them. Number two, advocate for those that are not in the room when you are in the room. And number three, make it a habit, not just a headline or, this moment in time. Don't just do it once for brownie points and say, yay! Consistently bring unseen talent into the light. Those that are unseen, unheard, or feeling unvalued, make it a habit and bring them to the light. Trust me, your team will notice. And those small, steady moves that you make, that move you from being seen as a boss to being seen as a leader, they build loyalty faster than any rah-rah speech you could ever make. So here's your recap. Find the quiet ones. Advocate for them when they're not in the room. And keep it a consistent habit. That, my friend, that is invisible advocacy. And it changes everything when you want to go from a boss to a leader. Just ask Oprah or Lynn, or just ask me. Friends, the power of leadership, it isn't just in who you see. It's in who you help others to see. Well, that's it for today. And next time, we're going to keep this From Boss to Leader series rolling with the fun with another game changer. And that one is walk in their shoes. Literally. It's not just about getting stuff done. It's about seeing challenges at the ground level and solving those challenges together. And until then, keep leading, keep walking, and keep being the most valuable leader in the room. This is Velma. See you next time. God bless.